Hey everybody, happy whatever day it is that you're watching this video. I hope you're having an amazing day. Well, I'm Teta Jackson of Empowering to Be, and I am hopping on today because we are talking about 10 heartbreaking reasons women allow the past to stink up our life, denying us access into our bright future, right? So that's what we're talking about. And last week we talked about the first one, which is loss of hope. And today we're going to be moving on. Now, I'm not going to be talking about anything that I discussed last week. So I want to encourage you to go back and watch that video because we did talk about loss of hope. That way you can see what we discussed last week. But this week, we're moving on to the second reason why women allow the past to stink up our lives and deny us of entering into our bright future. And please understand that none of these 10 is in any particular order, okay? So it's not like loss of hope is number one and then it's no particular order. So our second reason is low self-esteem, or really sometimes no self-esteem at all. Low self-esteem, or in some cases, no esteem at all. Now, allow me for just a moment to see if I can paint a picture of what I'm talking about as it relates to self-esteem. Let's see if I can help you to see what it looks like. So first, self-esteem is simply the ability to see yourself in a positive light and deserving of great things in life. So again, self-esteem is your ability to see yourself in a positive light and deserving of great things. It relates to how we value and perceive ourselves, right? It's confidence or the lack thereof, right? Confidence or the lack thereof in one's worth, in our worth and in our abilities or in our morals. It's our belief system about ourselves. What do you believe about yourself? What do you feel? What do you think about yourself? I say it's what we say about ourselves when nobody else is around. So when nobody else is around and you're in your bathroom and you're standing in your mirror, right? And you're saying all of these marvelous things about yourself, I hope you're saying that I'm worthy, that I'm valuable, that I'm worthy of being treated well, that I'm beautiful, I'm confident in myself and I can accomplish anything, right? So I hope that that's what you're saying about yourself. So it's what we say when nobody else is around. It also encompasses what we allow other people to say concerning us and what we allow other people to do to us. Oh my goodness. What we allow other people to say to us in our presence and how we allow other people to treat us, okay? That's self-esteem. Do you allow people to talk down to you? Right? Do you allow people to say whatever it is they want to say and you don't correct them? Right? Do you allow people to say things in your presence that you're not really comfortable with? They're not really talking about you, but they're talking about things that you're not comfortable with. Do you stay just because you're trying to be nice, or do you excuse yourself because you have that much love for yourself that you don't allow yourself to have to be in an environment that you don't want to be in, right? So it encompasses what we allow other people to say concerning us, what we allow them to do to us, what we allow to happen in our environment that we're not comfortable with, and do we act on it? It's what we deem acceptable for our life, whether it's treatment of self, whether what we do to ourselves, or again, the treatment that we allow other people to do to us. It's how we see see ourselves. Self-esteem is how we see ourselves. For instance, I say that I see myself as beautiful. I see myself as smart. I see myself as worthy of being loved and treated with kindness and respect. I believe that I'm top tier. I don't know about anybody else, but I believe that I'm top tier and I deserve the best that life has to offer me. And that's what I'm going to give myself. I'm going to give myself the best treatment, right? And that's what I require that others who enter my space, I require them to do the same thing as well. I require them to give me no less than I am giving myself. Now, I can go on and on because I feel a very healthy amount of good self-esteem, but I have to say that I can't say that it has always been like that for me. I have in life, and I'm sure you have too, I've taken a few hits to my self-esteem in my lifetime. There have been many times that I've had to pull myself up off the floor, right? Peel myself off the walls of life to remind myself of who I am, right? Who I am and what I deserve and how I expect for life and everybody that's within this life to treat me. There have been times that I've had to pull myself up and remind myself of it. So I haven't always been this confident in myself. And it's in these, well, I'll just say, I know that there have been times, like that for you. And there, of course, there's been times like that for me. And I mean, there have been times that life was really lifing, right? Life was very, very hard, that I found myself in broken places, broken down, almost to the lowest of the lows, and couldn't imagine ever getting up on my feet. And as I'm sure it's happened to me, I'm sure it has happened to you. So again, I can't say that I've just been so confident in my life, right? Every single day of my life, life has pushed me to the place where I am today. And it's in these moments, right? In the moments where we've experienced some of the most difficult times of our lives, the most darkest places of our lives. It's been in these dark moments, these difficult moments, that we are challenged in the area the most of in our area of self-esteem, right? It's in these dark moments that we're challenged the most in the area of our self-esteem. So it's in these moments when we question so many different things about ourselves, right? So many different things. For instance, we could say when our financial situations in life have been crazy and we are desperately trying to figure out how are we going to take care of our family, how are we going to pay our bills, right? How are we going to eat, how are we going to put gas in a car. It's in these moments where we've had terrible financial situations. Maybe you face bankruptcy a time or two, like me, in your life, right? It's in these moments that we begin to wonder whether or not we're valuable enough, right? This moment in time affects how we see and how we value ourselves, right? When you're dealing with financial issues. Or maybe, for instance, when you are in a relationship and you've lost a relationship, right? And it's one that you wanted. It's one that you wanted and one that you saw going the distance. But unfortunately, the other person did not feel the same way. And so now you're dealing with an area of rejection. And it's in these moments in time that we begin to question our worthiness. Are we worthy to be in relationship with somebody? Are we worthy to have the experiences that we want to have with a spouse or with a partner? And many times we find ourselves dealing with these feelings, right? So we've had this moment in time, we've had this situation to occur, but many times we find ourselves dealing with these same feelings day and weeks and months and years after the situation has ended. And that's where we run into our issue, our problem with situations in the past still holding us, right? So yes, the situation we could say is dead as it relates to it's happened and it's over, right? But as it being dead within us, it's not, because it's very much still alive. It's very much still alive in our hearts and our minds, in our souls, and in our spirits, because we deal with it day in and day out. We're facing it day in and day out. And why? Why is it still alive? It's still alive because we're holding on to it for dear life, as if we have to pay some penance, right? Because something happened. We allowed it to happen. Somebody dealt with us wrong. And so now we're hurting. And so day in and day out, we're dealing with the situation as if we have to pay a cost, to pay a price for it. We actually muzzle over it, or we go over it over and over again in our heads, as if thinking about it long enough will change the outcome of the situation. We go over it over and over, and maybe if I think about it enough, I can figure out a way for it to not have happened. But that's not the case. You don't owe a penance to the past for the things that have happened. You don't have to keep muzzling over it over and over again. We find ourselves trapped in the past, right? Wondering how we ever let things get so bad with our finances, in our example. So because we're constantly thinking about it over and over again, we're just like, well, I don't know what I did, or how could I have done something better, right? Why wasn't I smarter when I was going through this situation? So you're beating yourself up and you're going over it and over. And how did I allow myself to fall so deeply in love with somebody, and I fell so hard in this relationship, and this person did not feel the same? Why didn't I see it? Why couldn't I see it? Why didn't I stop myself? And so you're constantly beating yourself up over and over and over again, and each time your self-esteem is taking a hit. And though these questions, and listen, though these questions, and I believe that these are questions that should be answered. We should ask these questions, and we should answer these questions so that we don't repeat it again. Though we should actually ask and answer, that these questions shouldn't be positioned in a way that we beat ourselves down daily and lose all confidence and assurance in ourselves or in our abilities to move forward in life and to still accomplish great things in our lives. Yes, ask the question. Yes, figure out why you did it and why you allowed it. Yes, do that, because that's growth. We grow from doing those things, but we will not grow by constantly beating ourselves down and keeping ourselves weighed and tied to the past, because we won't allow ourselves the opportunity to learn from something and then move on. So listen, there is nothing, and I want you to hear me, there is nothing that has happened in your life, whether it's self-inflicted or it's inflicted onto you by someone else. There is nothing that has happened that the price of it is worth you losing your self-esteem. And I'm going to say that again. There is nothing that has happened in your life, whether it's self-inflicted, whether you did it to yourself, or whether it was inflicted upon you by somebody else, right? Somebody else did something to you. There is nothing that has happened in your life that the price of it is worth the loss of your self-esteem. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing is worth it, and nothing can pay the price of you losing your self-esteem or your self-esteem being low, low, low. Nothing is worth it. Listen to me. Things happen in life. Let's just put that right there. Things happen in life. And our only responsibility when things happen in life is to learn from those things and to grow from those things. So we learn from the mistakes that we've made, and we grow from our mistakes. And then what do? We keep moving forward in life. That is our responsibility. Our responsibility is not to beat ourselves up Our responsibility is to learn. Our responsibility is to grow. Our responsibility is to be better. Did you hear me? It is to be better because of what we have experienced in life. That's it. Be better. Our responsibility for the rest of our lives is not to hold our heads down in shame. And let me just say that again for somebody out there who's watching this. Your responsibility in life is not to hold your head down in shame. It happened. It happened. But you know what else? It is over. And your responsibility is not to hold your head down in shame and to beat yourself up until you die. You are not to be, a person that dies on the heel of your mistake. You made a mistake, you move forward. You pick yourself up in confidence and you move forward. Listen, life happens to us all. But when we find ourselves in discouraging situations that have us struggling with our self-esteem, we just have to do 3 things. We just have to remind ourselves of 3 things. And what are those 3 things? We have to remind ourselves, number 1, of who we are. We have to remind ourselves of whose we are. And we have to remind ourselves of why we are. Who we are, whose we are, and why we are. We have to remind ourselves of those 3 things. Who we are. Psalms 139:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Who we are. We are fearfully and we are wonderfully made. We have to remember that we have been made with care and we have been made with thoughtfulness by God. And everything about us is good. Everything is good. Number 2 is whose we are. Psalms 24:1 says, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, the world and those of us who dwell therein. The earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, and the world and those who dwell therein. That's us. We belong to God. We are His and He cares about everything that concerns us. So who we are, we got to be reminded of whose we are, and we have to be reminded of why we are. Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Listen, there is purpose for our life. There's purpose for your life. There's a reason for your existence. There is a why for each of us, and it is our responsibility. It is up to us to figure out the why and live it out in this earth confidently and boldly. Hear me. I believe knowing these 3 things, the who we are, the whose we are, and the why we are, I believe the knowing of these 3 things should be enough to pull us up out of low self-esteem and even no self-esteem and push us into self-confidence. Listen, because we are not here by accident, I'll say it again, because we are not here by accident. We should be able to pull ourselves up and say that there's a reason for my life. There's purpose for my life, and I will not walk in low self-esteem. I will not live a life of no esteem at all. Listen, there is a plan for your life, and there is a plan for my life too. Yes, all of the things that you have experienced in your past, they were meant to make you better and to make you a stronger version of yourself. They weren't meant to tear you down. They weren't meant to break you down. They were meant to build you up. So I want to say to you right now, shake off. Come on and shake off. Shake off your low self-esteem. Shake it off and hold your head up high Take whatever issue that you might have been faced with, and whatever situation that you've dealt with in your past that has brought your self-esteem down, and you're dragging it with you into your life every single day. I want you to take whatever issue that you have endured, and I want you to use it for the purpose for which it was meant. And it was meant for you to stand on top of it. Put your feet on top of it. And it was meant for you to learn from it. It was meant for you to grow from it. It was meant for you to stand on it and become stronger and become a better person because of it. It was meant for you to take you to a higher height and a deeper depth in life. It was meant for you to be pushed to the top and to become a better version of yourself. So again, I want you to shake off that low self-esteem. Shake it off. Don't allow those things that occurred, those things that happened to you in the past, to hold you down any longer. You were fearfully and wonderfully made by God. He chose you, and he gave you a purpose. He gave you a future, and he gave you a hope. Okay. Now listen, that's what we wanted to talk about this week. Low self-esteem, no self-esteem. Next week, we're going to be moving forward to number 3, the number 3 reason. We'll move forward to that next week. But remember, you're dealing with loss of hope. I hope you spent some time thinking about that. And this week, I want you to spend some time thinking about any issues that may be affecting your self-esteem, anything that's happened from the past. It could be, it could have been some abuse of some sort, some mental abuse, some physical abuse. It could be a lot of things, and I don't want to call things out. It can be a lot of things. You know what your issues are. So I want you to take some time to deal with those so that you won't allow them to hold you captive to your past any longer. All right? Okay, well, I'm done. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.